everyone and welcome to my reading vlog for Skulduggery Pleasant Until the End. The final ever Skulduggery Pleasant book. So this just arrived this morning. It is a chunker, but the sprayed edges actually match my original copy of the first ever book, which is very interesting. But this is the final ever book in the Skulduggery Pleasant series, and as you can tell by all of my previous vlogs for this series, this is my favourite series of all time. I love this series so much. I've been reading it since I was 11, and this is the final book, and I am terrified. I'm absolutely terrified because Derek Landy kills people quite a lot in his books. He's killed some of my favourites, and this is the final ever book, and I am worried. I am saying that I did flick to the end to see how many pages it was, and I saw the words Skulduggery Pleasant will return, so I'm sort of okay at the moment because I'm like, well, at least he lives, I think, hopefully. I don't know, I'm scared, but I'm terrified. I'm so worried about this book. I'm so worried. I cannot believe we're here. I feel like I started this series for the first time 5 minutes ago, but I was actually 11. I'm now 26. I'm so scared. I'm so scared. And actually, before I get going with anything else, before I mention anything else, I'm going to say this right here. This is going to be a full 100% spoilery reading vlog. All of these others have been spoilery reading vlogs. This is going to be no different. I am going to be talking at plot points throughout this book, as you can tell by the fact that I just said Skulduggery Pleasant will return. And I'm going to be talking about the ending and everything else. There is going to be no stone left unturned in terms of this book. So, just warning you there, this is going to be spoilery, and I'm not sorry because it's a Skulduggery Pleasant book. I am going to be delaying this vlog, so it will come out like later, so like I'll give people time to read this one and all the rest of it. But if you have not read this book and you do want to read this book, save this video in your watch later playlist and watch it later after you've read this book, because I am not going to be doing any sort of spoiler warnings after this. It's just going to be spoilery. Now, on to what I think about what's going to happen in this book. I've got a couple of predictions. I thought it would be fun to do predictions at the beginning of this. So, predictions are including, I think someone's going to die. I don't know who. I think maybe China. I don't know. It just popped into my head that maybe China's going to sacrifice herself for something. Maybe, I'm thinking maybe like something like that. Obviously they've got to try and defeat the Faceless Ones, and obviously Valkyrie's now the portal for the Faceless Ones, so I'm thinking maybe like Darkess, Skulduggery, and a whole lot of other people are all going to have to try and team up together to try and stop Valkyrie and the Faceless Ones. Obviously, Darkess has fought the Faceless Ones before. I'm hoping now that like Darkess has had this sort of childhood again, she'll learn that she does like humanity and she wants it to continue living, so she'll actually save the world. I'm hoping we get more of like Skulduggery's dad, who's a literal god called Gog Magog. I'm hoping that's going to turn up somewhere, because that was a turn up for the books. I'm gonna need to know what happens there. I think there's going to be some sort of plot twist with Crepuscular Vise as to who he is, because obviously we know he's changed his name and he used to be Skulduggery's partner, so I think there's going to be some sort of twist somewhere there. I don't know where, but I'm thinking something's going to happen there. Obviously his face has been like half flayed off, so we know that something's going to, like, there's going to be some sort of plot twist there because Skulduggery won't recognise him. I'm hoping Skulduggery also, by the end of this book, maybe reclaims his family crest, because they've mentioned that quite a few times, so I'm hoping he's going to reclaim his family crest, or at least mentions it, or at the very least reunites with his brother Uther Picant, who is Omen's teacher who hates Omen. So I'm hoping they're going to reunite because they are brothers. Skulduggery hasn't seen any of his brothers in a really long time, or his sisters or anybody else, because mostly they're dead, but Uther at the very least is alive, so I'd like to see where that goes. And I would also like to know more about China and Solace. Apart from that, I'm thinking Sebastian is going to turn out to be Augur, because of the obsidian thing, so I'm thinking Sebastian's going to turn out to be Augur. I think Omen's going to come into his own and become his own sort of like hero in his own right. I mean, he already is in my mind, but I'm hoping that's going to be the case. Yeah, I think that's all of my predictions. I'm now just talking, so I don't have to start this. I'm terrified. I'm so scared. I'm so scared. But I also don't want it to end because I've been reading this, like I said, since I was 11. But I'm going to start it. But first I'm going to quickly show you my t-shirt. My t-shirt, I don't know if you can see that, I'll put a proper picture up in a minute, is of the original art from the original Skulduggery Pleasant book. My mum bought me this t-shirt for my birthday. I will be wearing it as well for the Until the End live stream as well, if I can get it washed and ready in time. I hopefully will be. But this is actually the original art for all of the characters, Skulduggery, Valkyrie, Tanith and Ghastly. That's at the beginning of the original book. The original copy, my original copy, with the orange sprayed edges. I'll probably pop a picture here of that as well. So I'm just adding to my editing time. And again, I am putting off reading this. Shut up, get on with it. I've got to shut up and get on with it. I'm scared. I've been talking for nearly 6 minutes. Shut up and read it. First of all though, pretty end papers. I like those end papers. They're very nice. And then, what's the dedication? He always does really good dedications as well. I always like reading the dedications. So this one is, this book is dedicated to Iron Man. Tony stopped Thanos and saved us all, and I, for one, will never forget the sacrifice he made. Also to Natasha Romanoff for yeeting herself off that cliff. Landy. I'm still not okay. I wasn't expecting that, but I'm not okay with that because I was not okay with that in the first place. Thanks for reminding me of that and causing me pain before we even get started. Damn it, Landy. Damn it, Landy. I love the nerds, but I love the nerdiness, but still, right. Not going to talk about this. I'm gonna get on and read it, and I will update you with what I think about it in probably 5 minutes when I've read like the first couple of chapters. Wish me luck. I'm scared. I like that we still get the traditional opening in the sense that Skulduggery and Valkyrie are on like a mission and stuff, but I'm slightly surprised Skulduggery's still working with Valkyrie at the moment, but I reckon he's doing a sneaky and trying to figure out what to do about like the faceless ones and everything anyway, because that's what he does. But what I find really, really interesting in this is that Valkyrie's now 26. She started this series as 11 and she's ending it at 26. I started this series at 11 and I'm ending it at 26. That just hit me in the feelings. I'm not okay. A lot of this is going to hit me in the feelings. That's all I've got. A lot of this is going to hit me in the feelings, and that just hit me in the feelings. I'm a mess. That's all I've got. I'm a mess. This vlog is going to be a mess. Well done to Melitza for standing up against to Valkyrie and saying, no, we are not going to be like together anymore, things like this, while also still trying to work within like the school, things like this. But everything that's going on with the school and Rawhaven is actually really scary thinking about it, because it's like they're trying to take over almost entirely with the school and things like this, and really controlling the kids and like stopping teleporting and things like this, and I'm like, yeah, that isn't good. And the threats to Omen as well, just not good at all. I'm like, don't harm Omen, he's only young, and this camera's a little bit far away. There we go, that's a bit better. I don't know why that was so far away. But I'm just like, well, this isn't good. But also the fact that they've got cleavers protecting her family, like Valkyrie's family as well. I'm like, kind of glad about that, but I also don't trust the cleavers. I somehow think that maybe somehow Valkyrie's family are going to somehow join the resistance or something, or like try and help Tanith or Skulduggery or something. I don't believe that they're going to try and stay out of this one, because they've been dragged into it too many times now. And while being on the periphery of it, obviously they were quite involved in the Dying of the Light, so I'm just wondering if it's going to be the same here, and there is going to be some sort of like thing where they end up joining in or something. I don't know. Maybe they're going to try and pull Valkyrie back from the brink. I'm not sure, but I don't like Dark Valkyrie. She's scary. She's kind of scary in the sense that it's Valkyrie, but it's not Valkyrie, which is like the weirdest thing. The Darkly parents are still the worst. They are still the absolute worst human beings, because I mean, Olga is now Obsidian, and all they care about is what they look like, and the fact that they're trying to get the Darkly name back again by creating like a department that helps like track down chosen ones, and they're like, Omen, don't screw this up for us, do not embarrass us, stay in bed, don't do anything. And it's like, really? You still don't care about your child? And they're like, for now you're our only child, so can you just, what is it they say? For the time being, you are our only son and we need you to not embarrass us. Can we trust you to do that? And it's like, how about if you do some parenting? Parenting, for once in your lives, do it. Instead of just caring about what you think about, like what people think about you, and also the fact that somebody else has gotten your table in the restaurant. Like, damn it, are his parents ever gonna be okay? No, they're not. They're always gonna be assholes. But I was hoping that maybe they'd have a shred of parental humanity. No, still not there. What was I expecting? So there's two Zerpines running around, one of who's just killed the guy who's trying to help Creed, and has also tried to kill Valkyrie, and the other one tried to kill Skulduggery, and also they've just met the God of Death, who sounds really hot. I'm not kidding, that sounded so attractive, as in wearing black nail varnish and eyeliner, tight black jeans, and everything else. I went, yes. But also, God of Death, which means we're getting into the God of Death, which means we're probably going to be getting into the other gods, which means we may also see the God of the Apocalypse, Skulduggery's dad, Gog Magog. Here we go. I'm like 99 pages in now, and I've got to stop for lunch, and I don't want to, but there's a lot of mysteries going around here. A lot of mysteries, and I am loving it, but look how much I've still got to go. That is ridiculous, but considering I'm like nearly 100 pages in an hour and a half, or just under an hour and a half, that ain't bad going. But we'll see where the rest of this goes in the afternoon. But good start so far. Lots of mysteries. Still terrified. That's where I'm at the moment. I'm still terrified, but there's a lot of mysteries going on, and I still have theories as to what's going on. And I also really hope the Resistance don't try to kill Valkyrie. So we've now got the idea that Creed wants to trap Dark S after pushing her too far so she becomes pure energy, and I'm like, yeah, because releasing Dark S into pure energy is going to end well for people. Even if she is just pure energy, she can still do things with a thought, you know, and a snap of her fingers and stuff like this, and I'm just like, yeah, that's still not going to be a good plan. Also, I'm really interested in knowing what the Doomsday Protocol is and what the hosts are, because I'm like, this sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't know if I'm just thinking about Doctor Who, where with the something key, Asterhagen key, that was it, the Asterhagen key. I don't know if I'm thinking about that, I don't know, but it sounds very similar, and I'm just like, this doesn't sound good, whatever happens. But I'm so intrigued by all of this. I'm completely and utterly intrigued by everything going on right now. First of all, well done Omen for standing up and actually saying something against Skulduggery and Valkyrie, and pointing out that Skulduggery is working with Valkyrie despite her now being the bad guy. Omen is growing some level of like spine here. I like that. Well, he's always had a spine, but it's been sort of compressed, and now he's sort of growing into himself. I'm really glad about that. But also the fact that Skulduggery did that so then Valkyrie could hear it as well. Now they're having that argument. It's Skulduggery saying that he hasn't abandoned Valkyrie because they love each other, kind of thing. And she goes, until the end. And he says, and it says, he didn't say anything. Skulduggery, until the end, he said softly, and I'm like, that is this version of the Avengers Endgame, whatever it takes. That is this version. And I'm just like, oh no. Because that just gets me. Because it's whatever it takes. And I'm like, no, not whatever it takes. Shut up. Because, I mean, whatever it takes haunts me. And now I'm like, until the end is now going to haunt me, isn't it? As a phrase, the whole way through reading this book. Someone's going to die. Someone is definitely going to die. Not looking forward to who it is. I don't think it's going to be Skulduggery. Hoping it's not Valkyrie. Look, my list of people I don't want to die is longer than my list of people I don't care about. Because the people I don't care about is a very, very small, tiny list. It's mostly the bad guys. So I'm like, I'm conflicted. I'm so conflicted. Like, I'm so glad that Omen has stood up for himself. But at the same time, until the end scares me as a phrase when they're saying it to each other. But can we also just appreciate that the I love you to each other is completely platonic? I enjoy that because it's that best friend, I love you kind of thing. And it's not like I love you in the romantic sense, it's purely in the platonic friendship sense, which I love because I do not ship them at all. I don't ship anybody with anybody in this series, to be honest. But glad that's still platonic. But until the end, as the phrase is scaring me. They're torturing Dark S and pushing her to the point where she's actually screaming as it's getting past her pain receptors and all the rest of it. And I'm like, yeah, I thought at the beginning of this that she may actually side with humanity, and now I'm thinking, oh no, she's gonna go, oh hell no, humanity is gone and done for at this point. Or at the very least, she's gonna kill the city guard and Creed, and anybody else who's hurt her. Maybe Sebastian will be able to pull her back from the brink, because she's definitely gonna go to the brink for this. She's definitely gonna not even go to the brink, she's gonna tip over the edge of the brink and probably try to destroy the world in her anger at what they've done to her. Again, I'm scared. Again, I'm very, very scared. I mean, I don't care if Dark S dies in that sense because she's a bad guy, but I'm still like, this isn't going to end well. Why do the scientists and everybody think that they can just torture and things like this to people like Dark S? Because it's not going to end well. It has never ended well. It's ended in pain and death and destruction every single time. And they still do it. They never learn. I feel so sorry for Omen, especially in this book, specifically on chapter 29, because the poor boy has just realised that Vise has also been using him this whole time. So he's got his parents treat him awfully. He's been second best to his brother this whole time. The person he thought he was going to be like a hero with possibly has been using him this whole time to get back at Skulduggery and prove to Skulduggery that you can save people and all the rest of it. He doesn't trust Skulduggery anymore because he's working with Valkyrie, and Valkyrie's the child and the mother of the Faceless Ones. Poor boy's completely by himself. I feel so sorry for him. And also there's now 2 Dr. Nyes working on experimenting on humans and giving them powers. And he's now also trying to use Flannery. He's clearly doing something to like use Flannery for his own end and things like this, and it's like, do I even want to know what he's up to? Do I even want to know? Yes, I do, but at the same time it's like, what's he up to? What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? Because it's nigh. That man could be up to anything. Well, that creature could be up to anything. Literally anything. Oh my god, Skulduggery's dad's the god of the apocalypse. We knew that was coming because obviously in the grimoire. But I'm so glad that that was actually explained in the grimoire, because if it hadn't have been, that would have been a bit too much to sort of go through in just one conversation. I feel like that would have needed a bit more of a conversation. But Valkyrie's reaction is brilliant. And she's just like, oh my god, freaking out. It's like, yes. But I'm glad she also asked the question, does that make you a demigod? Do you have any of his powers? Things like this. I'm so glad she asked that because I've been thinking that for the last week since... Has it been a week? Yeah, I must have finished the grimoire last... Yeah, I finished the grimoire last Thursday, so exactly a week later I'm reading the final book. So that's quite good timing there, but... Yeah, I've been thinking that, like, does that make him a demigod? What does this make him any type of god? And obviously they put him in the dire dimension as well to keep Abrogate, Ray's Gog Magog away from everybody, so that makes sense as well. That makes perfect sense in my head, but I'm just like, this isn't good, bringing his dad back because his dad's waking up. But also the fact that all of his siblings are back as well. I didn't realise it was all of his siblings. I thought it was just Bacant who came back 7 years ago. But I'm trying to think what happened 7 books ago. So this is book 15, so that would have been book 8, so... that would have been around the War of Rawhaven and all the rest of it, so they were busy dealing with that, so... I can't think of anything in particular that would have possibly have brought them back plot-wise there, but... Very interesting that they all turned up, and Skulduggery's only just mentioned it. The fact that all of his siblings are alive and he hasn't seen any of them. But I do like as well that we are getting the explanation as there has been an investigation ongoing for the last 7 years and no one's got any idea as to why they were brought back. So I'm glad we also got that bit of conversation as well, because I've also been wondering that, like, has there been an investigation? Surely there would have been an investigation. I'm sure this is what Skulduggery's been doing on the quiet in between books, like investigating all of this. Probably. But also, I swear he's got to be working for the other team as well, because he's surely working with the Resistance. Well, I mean, Tanith did mention it briefly in that meeting with everybody, so he must be working with them somehow in secret, but I don't see how he's managing it. But man's got a lot on his plate, and also his aunt was a serial killer. His aunt was also a serial killer. I mean, the fact that this man came out so as well adjusted as he did is, quite frankly, a miracle. I really like that conversation between Skulduggery's family and Valkyrie and Skulduggery himself. It was just really nice to see that sibling dynamic there for the first time properly, because I mean, I know we got a bit of it in a transcript format in the Grimoire, but it was nice to just see all of them, well, most of them, together and actually talking with each other, and like for them to meet Valkyrie as well. It was like, oh, that's so nice. And we also got a physical description of a few of them as well, which didn't help me try to figure out what Skulduggery would have looked like in the first place, but there we go. Valkyrie accidentally grew a second serpine, and all I can think about is the 10th Doctor and the "it's a fighting hand" moment. And obviously that's when his hand got chopped off, and then he put his regeneration energy into the hand that got chopped off, that Jack kept hold of as his Doctor detector, and it became a second Doctor. So I'm just thinking about that. And then also Skulduggery doing the like the Sherlock Holmes quote, the classic one, but changing it, says, "When you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, no matter how silly, must be the truth." And I'm just like, references, there are references everywhere. I'm loving it. There's references to previous books in here, but there's also references as well to various bits of pop culture, as always. And as always, I love them, and I just thought I'd point out that Doctor Who one, because the 10 is one of my favourites, and watching the two Doctors was just one of my greatest moments of my TV watching childhood. So I just had to point that out. And obviously I had to point out the Sherlock Holmes reference, because I am a Sherlock Holmes nerd, or at least a BBC Sherlock nerd anyway. I knew Skulduggery had to be working for the Resistance. He had to be. I knew he was working somewhere with them. I wonder how he was like contacting them without Valkyrie noticing or anything, but I'm so sad that she escaped. I'm not usually like, damn it, she escaped with these two, but I'm definitely a bit like, oh no, because now like Creed's been talking and all the rest of it, like with her, and it turns out he suspected this was going to happen, which was pretty obvious, to be fair. I like the fact that Pecan, or however you pronounce his name, Skulduggery's brother, did try to protect Omen, and Omen's gotten away with it just at the moment, in terms of not having to go to the prayers and all the rest of it. But now Pecan's been arrested, so that's just great, and now all of the cleavers and the teleporters have disappeared, and I'm like, where the hell did they go? Is this the Resistance, or is it like Tanith's work, like going through and like getting everybody to like whispering in everybody's ears to like take down all the sanctuaries? Also now, because there's no cleavers and all the rest of it, does this now mean that Sebastian's going to be able to get Dark S out? Because I can't remember where Sebastian was. He would just escape. He was just about to escape, and then he ran. So I don't know if he's managed to escape or not, if this is happening at the same time. I don't know. So it's all kicking off and I'm nearly halfway. I'm speeding through this, but I'm just sitting there going like, yeah, come on, come on, come on, come on. I'm really into this. And also Skulduggery said the sparrow flies south for the winter, and it was like, yeah, we haven't heard that phrase in a while. So I'm just like, yay, reference, because we're getting loads of references obviously for all the previous books as well now and stuff like this, and I'm just like, yeah, hearing it. That whole scene in the prison with Skulduggery, Dapper and Temper, where Temper's like, I've got no idea what's going on, and the two of them are just not even telepathically arguing, they're just arguing with each other inside their own heads and still getting to the exact same conclusion. I just find that really funny. Also, Omen finally standing up and like shouting at the teacher, even though it's getting him hauled off to the detention cells. I feel like we're sort of getting Omen sort of like stepping up to be that hero now, and he is stepping up slowly as he's going along, and this is really pushing him into that, even though he's like lost most of his hope. I really like that, and I'm really hoping that he's gonna really come into his own and become a proper hero by the end of this book. I do think he will though, because that's where Omen's been going this whole time. Or he gets to go to art school. I don't care which one it is, as long as he's happy and loved. That's the only two things I care about. Happy, loved, free. That is and free, obviously. That is the third thing I want for him. Happy, loved, and free. And away from oppression, and hopefully with his brother back. But apart from that, I don't care as long as he's happy. That's all I want. Happiness for Omen. Wait, so Valkyrie's got the power of the crystal from the scepter inside of her so she could kill the faceless ones. I hadn't even thought of that. I hadn't even thought about what happens to the energy inside of the crystal when the crystal gets, like, destroyed. But of course it's in Valkyrie. Of course it's in Valkyrie. And now they've got to try and use Valkyrie to try and destroy the faceless ones. How in the hell are they going to convince her of that? And as China's tattooing works, she's already been going at it for like a week or something. So maybe it's going to work, but I still somehow think this is going to backfire or something, because I'm like here, so I've still got something like 400 pages left, and I'm like, well, this ain't gonna end well. I'm slightly panicking, despite the fact there's 400 pages left. I'm just like, Abby, how in the hell did you read this in a day? Because there's no way I'm gonna read this in a day. I'm gonna have to finish this tomorrow. But it's like, Abby, how did you do that? Just show me your ways. But oh my god, I'm on chapter 55, and I'm just like, this is tense. This is so tense. But also, Omen, forgot to mention, Omen teaming up with the other kids to try and take down, like, the, Joanna, or whatever her name is, the principal of the school, so they can release the kids from the school. Come on, Omen! Stepping up. Love it when Omen steps up. The faceless the faceless ones have made themselves known across the world. The faceless ones have been connected to Creed. They now know Valkyrie isn't under their control, and now they're visible to mortals, and the sorcerers have also come up to fight them. Oh hell, there's no way they can wipe the minds of everybody in the world. There's no way they can put the cat back in the bag now. Oh my god. And I'm gonna have to stop reading soon. I don't want to. Oh my god. I've got no words. I'm panicking now. I'm slightly panicking. I'm very much panicking. Oh my god. I loved that scene in the prison break where Valkyrie says, no, I mean, you are an equal, kind of thing. I love that because it's like, he needed that. He needed that so badly. Like, he so needed that. Also, Tyler's dad would definitely be a Trump supporter. He's definitely based on Trump supporters without doubt. Are you wonky? I can't tell. There we go. But Tyler's dad is definitely based on a Trump supporter. There's no doubt about that in my mind. He would be a Trump supporter. So I like that we're sort of getting the Trump president while also having the supporter in this book as well. It's that kind of thing. Also, I really like seeing Obsidian again, but I don't like the fact that he's going to try and destroy the world as well, and that Augur's dead. I'm thinking not because he did the whole faceless ones are one thing. I like the fact that there's like a little bit there in terms of like maybe how they can defeat them, but then they're going to have to try and defeat Obsidian, which isn't going to be fun. Also, Sebastian now keeps on mentioning as well when he finally gets to take the suit off. So that's very interesting as well. I reckon that is definitely going to turn into some sort of twist there. Also, Serpine is back from 14 years ago, and he's been trapped inside one of the crystals all this time, and he's been body hopping between alternate dimension Serpine's body and the fake hand body. What? What? I mean, that explains why there was two of them in two separate places, but what? How? I have no words. I have absolutely no words for that one. That plot twist, I've got nothing. Crepuscula is Solace's son. So does that mean she had him with Caisson? She must have had him with Caisson. I love chapter 98. It just says, nope, said China. That's it. I love that as a chapter to start with, but also twisty. I did not see that one coming. I probably should have seen that coming. Didn't see that one coming whatsoever. This is getting more confusing, wibbly bobbly, sort of everybody's related to each other, plot twisty kind of thing. I'm living for this, but also I'm gonna need a family tree at some point. I think I'm gonna need a family tree just so I can fully get where everybody mixes in here, because there's a lot of people related to each other and I'm confused. Like, I knew that that double cross was coming, because how could you trust Cadaver? You can't trust Cadaver ever, but Skulduggery in a human fleshy body. Him being like, I need to wee. That shouldn't be funny, and like the fact that he's hyperventilating and all the rest of it because he's totally not used to things, and he's just like, I can smell. I love all of that. I'm really like, I'm kind of hoping he's going to stay in a human body for a bit, just for a laugh, just to see what happens and see him getting used to being in a human body again. But at the same time, I hope he gets his skeleton back, or his spare skeleton, because obviously he's got like spares in his house. So if his house is still fine, but then again, his house is probably being watched, I don't know. But I just love this idea that he's now in a human fleshy body, and he's like, ooh, this is weird. And he can sort of like smell and things like this. But also, can we just appreciate the fact that Omen managed to like deal with the coup in the school and managed to like run it really well and not completely screw it up. I mean, they are now stuck there and they've only got 3 days worth of food if they ration it. But he still managed to free the kids. So that's a start. So I'm like, good on you, Omen. You're getting there. Slowly. But at the same time, he's around the right age for a surge, isn't he? So he should be getting some sort of his surge soon. And he should have a magical discipline by that point. He doesn't seem to have that yet. So I'm wondering if we're going to see his surge, or if that's just going to be skimmed over for this book. I don't know. But good on Omen for managing something. What the actual... For context, I'm on chapter 122. I've just finished chapter 122 and Skulduggery in China. So Solace is Skuld... Just have... I died. We were thinking K-Song was going to be his, but it's actually Solace, and oh, Jesus Christ. I am... What? And then China led Skulduggery's family that he made himself. It took their death. Oh, Jesus Christ. Just... I have no words, I have no words. I have no words further than... What? Just... Sandy! With the plot twists. I have no words. I've just got to carry on reading because I have no words, and I've got no other words further than I need to carry on reading because what? Omen Sebastian! I knew it! I knew it! I knew it. I mean, I know I changed it to Olga last time, but because the suit's the time travel suit and he's been going around and saving... Oh my god! And that's why he couldn't take off the suit, because if he did, he'd be ripped apart by the wibbly wobbly timey wimey. Love it. I love when I'm correct. I love when my prediction is correct. Oh my god, he's going to be the one who goes back in time. He's the one who gets Darkest and everything else. So that's why she said to save the world. That's why he was sent to save the world. And that's why he couldn't tell anybody who he was or anything. Knew it. I knew it would be something to do with Omen, because everything was so Omen with how he spoke and everything. It was so Omen. It's Omen. Omen gets to be the hero. Omen still gets to be the hero and be his own man, but he gets to be the hero. I'm so proud of him. I just finished it. Oh, that ending was perfection. That ending was absolute perfection. The way it rounded everything up, the way Darkest came back and fixed everything, and how it all went back to normal again, but they got the Bentley back and Skulduggery and Valkyrie are still working together. Everything is fine. She's back with Melitza. It looks like Alice is going to be going to Coravau Academy to learn magic and become magic as well, and even though it's going to be dangerous, she's got so many people around her who's going to protect her. Omen got Olga back and got to be his own person, and Ghastly's back. Brought back Ghastly, and I'm a little bit emotional and I may cry. And then that ending saying Skulduggery Pleasant will return. I mean, right there in black and white. I loved this. This was beautiful. I am emotional, but it was perfection. This, absolute perfection. The way it ended, nobody died, technically. Nobody died. China got old, but that's fine. And she's now running the school. I love that she's now running the school and that Ghastly's now in charge and he's now the Grand Mage. Oh, this set it up perfectly for another series. Obviously there's going to be another one because Skulduggery will return. I'm sure that's going to be about Gog Magog and things like that, but that was absolutely beautiful. That was the most perfect ending I could have ever foreseen for this series. That was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. I loved that. I have no words further than that was one of the greatest series endings I've ever seen. It wrapped everything up so nicely, but there's enough open to do another series, and obviously there is a plan for it now because of that final bit. But everyone came back. Ghastly came back, so we got him back. Everyone got a happy ending. Apart from Skulduggery, he didn't get his family back. But at the same time, he does have grandchildren. And so he's got grandchildren, so he's still got the family that way. So he didn't get his wife and child back, but he's still got some level of family. Even if they are being rehabilitated, he's still got the chance to see them. And he's got his brothers and sisters as well, and they haven't been mentioned, but I'm sure that's going to work out for him as well. But China got to be in charge of the academy, so she's working with the kids, and there's probably got a whole load of information there as well. Tanith is running the cleavers and working security that way, and because Ghastly's back, that means she's probably going to get with Ghastly. Oh, I love this so much. I love this ending. It was so brilliant. I am now emotional. That was so good. That was absolutely incredible. That was the right amount of tense, the right amount of funny, and I couldn't have ended it better. I couldn't have ended it better, and I'm so glad nobody died. I dropped my phone. I'm so glad nobody died. I was so scared that someone was going to die, but no one died. Thank you, Derek Landy, for not killing people, and thank you for writing this. I started this series at 11, and I ended it at 26, and Valkyrie was 11 when she started the series, and she ended it at 26. I've grown up with this series. I'm so sad that it's over. But at the same time, I know that there's Armageddon Out of Here Part 2. So that's going to be some short stories. I'll probably vlog that when that comes out. And it now says Skulduggery will return. So it's not over. But if this was the ending, it was the most beautiful ending. This series will stay with me forever. It's everything. This was everything. That's all I've got. I've got nothing. I'm overwhelmed with emotion right now, and all I can say is that this was absolutely everything. And so I don't keep on repeating myself, and so I can sort of breathe and sort of just figure out all of my emotions and sort of calm down and everything else. I'm going to leave this vlog here and say that I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Comment down below, tell me what you thought of this series when you read it. Tell me what you thought about the final book. I'd love to know. And if you don't have that much time, leave me a skull emoji down below to let me know that you were here. I'll also leave a link down below to all of my social media if you want to check it out, including to the Comic Book Sanctum, which is my website dedicated to Marvel Comics, which has got stuff about Derek Landy's Marvel Comics on there if you are interested in that. I'll also leave a link as well down below to my Redbubble on Etsy store, which sells bookish merch and bookish bullet journal stuff if you are interested in that, or if you just want to see any more of my videos where I probably talk even more about Skulduggery and Derek Landy's other writing, please click subscribe here, and over here will be the link to my previous video. But until next time everyone, bye, and I'm now gonna go cry.